Okay, welcome back to another episode of Tell Me Sis podcast, featuring your two favorite sisters,
Alex
and Kyla.
Welcome back, everyone. We hope you're having an awesome week. We hope you enjoyed last week's episode. I actually saw a few people say that you really enjoyed that. Sorry, I have like fluff all over my microphone and dog fur. That you really enjoyed the like really raw, like barely edited.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of our like true, not even thoughts, because we don't really edit out thoughts. It's more just, it feels like a conversation. It feels like it flows versus
You feel like you're in the room with us, having a conversation.
Versus an edited YouTube video.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's try it again for today.
I mean, it's easier for us.
Yeah, but I would also love to know too. Okay, so last episode and this episode, leave us your feedback, because the next episode maybe we'll do a bit more of an edit, or the one prior. I don't know. I want people to be able to see like a difference between two.
Yeah.
And then we can like go from there. So maybe next episode I'll just do like a really clean edit, and then you can let me know what you like listening to better or watching better if you're watching on YouTube. But today's episode I'm actually really excited for, because it's something I was thinking of a lot over the past week, and I'll get into that in a sec. But before we get into that, I wanted to ask if you had any life updates.
Life updates. Anything crazy? No major life updates that I can think of. Like I don't know, like nothing. I've just been like working.
Yeah.
One thing, I don't want to get in like too much detail or anything, but like I'm interviewing, not interviewing, but I'm having a lot of meetings with potential clients and hearing about their business and, you know, what I can help them with. It's like, it's so interesting. All these, like today, this morning, I had a meeting with a brand that hasn't even launched yet. They're going to be launching either next month or in November. And what they do or what they're going to be doing, their services, like just everything. It's so interesting. I was telling Alex about it before we started recording. And yeah, it's
is it almost like inspirational in a way that it makes you feel like it broadens yourself a little? Like,
it does.
Okay, A, I'm learning about something I didn't really know about before, and B, it's cool to see this person like start a business and see how they promote their business and sell their business, and it is inspiring for me.
Yes, and it's also like I learn a lot about not only like the services they provide, so like the industry, but I learn a lot about, especially in this case, like he was telling me all about this, like the planning and everything that's been going into it, and like their thoughts and their mission, their vision, and you know, getting investors and doing this and doing that, like just from a business perspective, especially a startup, it's just so interesting. I love it because I'm always learning new things, like no matter what, with what I do for work, I'm always learning. And
it's so fun.
And like what I like is that the clients I'm getting more recently, they've just been more aligned with me and my values.
I like that.
You know? Also, I will say I'm the type of person, I need change. I don't like repetition. I don't like feeling stagnant.
Yeah.
You know, I need to be stimulated, intellectually stimulated, because I could get, if I'm not being stimulated, if I'm not learning or growing or doing different things, I get so bored and like unmotivated. You know, like that's why for me personally, working 9 to 5, it's not that I can't do it, and it's not that I absolutely despise it, because I think there's a lot of perks to 9 to 5.
100%.
But going into the same office, doing the same thing, it's like the repetition of it that
it's, I don't know.
Groundhog
it doesn't. Day. It's the Truman Show.
What?
Oh my God, it's a movie you should watch, actually. You would find the Truman Show fascinating.
The Groundhog Day?
Oh, that's a different movie. Groundhog Day is one movie. Truman Show is a different movie.
It's like about what I'm talking about?
Kind of. Well, they're two different things completely, but they like kind of tie into what you're saying. I would highly recommend watching The Truman Show. It's with Jim Carrey.
Okay.
But it's not really a comedy. Just watch it.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay.
But I think what you're saying is the fact that it's repetition of something that is mundane and not stimulating to you, and there's no room for growth. There's no room for change.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just kind of, I mean, there's so many companies, like you can get promotions, you can get like, you know, change positions and stuff like that.
Yeah, people love that.
And you could learn, like at the very least, like I like learning about new things, and I enjoy, I don't know, like I enjoy variety. I like, you know, like I have one of my clients is a marketing agency, then there's hospitality, then there's like alcohol, then there's real estate, then there's wellness, like beauty,
it's
fashion,
so
like it's like I'm dipping my toes into like every industry. And to some people that might sound like very overwhelming, but for me, I need that, because then it's like I'm getting a little bit of like a fix from every industry, as opposed to just working in one industry and sticking to that one thing.
Yeah.
I feel like at a certain point, I don't know. I
know what
like
it reminds
change.
me of? What Christina said when she was little and she wanted to be a million different things.
Yeah.
And then she was like, wait a minute, if I'm an actress, then I can do all those different things. So I'm a different person in like every role that I play. I'm a mom in this role, and then I'm a sister in this role, and I'm a businesswoman in this role, and you know, so it's kind of like that, where like when you're in school and you try out different subjects to see what you like, and then if you like multiple ones, it's interesting, and I do think there is value in that because it expands your mind.
Yeah.
And then there's so many times you love conversing when you're talking to someone, and you're able to add into a conversation that maybe you previously weren't able to because you had no knowledge of the subject. Yeah. But now you know.
Exactly.
If you were to have a conversation right now with our real estate broker who got us this house, I'm sure you'd be able to actually talk real estate, whereas I have no idea. And I'm not saying that you're an expert, but just
like I wouldn't know as much as an actual real estate broker, but like I would be able to like understand what he's talking about to a certain extent, like when it comes to all like the paperwork stuff. No, but like
just in general, like you know way more than I do in real estate.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually really fascinating and interesting that I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I really have been loving what I'm doing recently. That's and like good. Also just like I'm very creative as well. I'm strategic. Like I'm very strategic. Like I like to plan, and I like to like be very prepared and have everything be organized and all that. And I love marketing, but then I also really like the creative aspect of things, you know, like bringing something to life and editing like videos and colors and putting together graphics, and I don't know. It's so much fun.
It is fun. I love to be creative.
Yeah.
I mean, I get so much fulfillment out of it. And this past week and last week and this week, I've been so busy with brand campaigns that I've been working on. But more than typical because of the amount of creativity I've been feeling and the amount of effort I've been putting into these brand campaigns. Yeah. Because previously, if I would have gotten this, I would have just done something simple because it made sense and I was busy with my kids or whatever. But now that I have more time and my son is in school and you know, Dan right now, has a bit more time to be with Rue, I have the flexibility to allow my creative juices to flow. And I get these like random sparks of, I call them a creativity firework. Yeah. Because let's say I'll be on a run or a walk and I'm listening to music, and I don't know if everyone does this, but my mind wanders and I like make up scenarios in my head and I think of things. I almost think of it in like a music video form. And then sometimes I'll get with an idea for something and I'll run with it in my head, and I think that would be an awesome idea for a video that I want to do, and then I go off that and I think of all these different things. Yeah. And as the music is going, I'm like thinking of different stuff I want to do, and the clothes I'm going to wear, and the shots I want to film, and how do I want to edit this, and I almost have a storyboard in my head. Yep. And then the hardest part is actually executing it, because there's some times where I like imagine something. That's the hardest part sometimes, when you have like something in your head and it's not turning out the way that you're imagining it in your mind. Yeah. That's one of like the hardest things. But like even at that, like, I don't know, it's just, I know exactly what you mean, because I'm the same way. But there's even this campaign I want to do. So, okay, for example, I had this campaign with Kerastase and I was so excited. I've been wanting to work with Kerastase forever.
Yeah.
Okay. And I made this whole mood board because I wanted the feel of the video to feel very nostalgic, late 90s, early 2000s. Like you're watching a J. Crew or Ralph Lauren commercial from at that time.
Yeah.
So very... You probably haven't seen it. You can literally YouTube those commercials, by the way. They're very like vintagey and like soft and lovey, and like there's just like an old nostalgic feeling to them. And it had the vibe of the video has nothing to do with the product that I'm using because it's a hair product, but it's the feeling and the vibe of the video. So I had this idea in my head that I wanted to do something like that. And then when I got this brand campaign, I was like, okay, I really want to fit in Kerastase to this like vision that I had in my head. And then what I did was I created a mood board. So I found a bunch of photos off of Pinterest that I felt fit the vibe of like what I was going for. And then I wrote out like a script and shot list and like what I was going to film, and then kind of the mood and the theme and the editing. And I sent it off to the team for them to look over, and they approved it. They loved it. And then it's more like, okay, how do we execute this now? How do I actually bring what's going on in my head to life?
Yeah.
So the outfits, I had to find the proper outfits. Where are we going to shoot? What's the vibe going to look like? I had Kyla help actually because she's so good at filming. Like I feel like you almost get my vision. You see the photos and you're like, oh, I know exactly what you're thinking. And then also on top of it, and this is why I think personally you would make a really good like videographer and photographer, is because you're like, oh, I have an idea, you do this and you do that, and you almost direct me based off of the vision that I had in my head. And I think that's why you're good at what you do, because it had nothing to do with your personal brand.
Yeah.
It was my vision that I wanted, that I curated, and you were helping me get that vision, and not for your own art.
Yeah.
It was for my art. It's really fascinating because when I work with videographers and photographers, it's their art.
Yeah.
They set the scene, they edit the photos, it's a whole thing, right? But this is my brand campaign, and you helped me execute exactly the vision that I wanted, and on top of it, you made it better. Like the ideas that you came up with, I was like, oh my gosh, that fits perfectly. I would have never thought of that because you're creative.
Yeah.
But
I also understand your vision.
Yeah.
And I know your brand already.
Yeah.
Which is just a bonus on top of it. I mean, still, like, even if I didn't know your brand, like, I would do my research and like look into everything. But like, I think it's why I'm very good at what you do, because these clients that you have, they're all different, like you said, and they're all different businesses, but you're executing their vision, their art, and you're giving them expertise in ways that like things that you know that they don't. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you're educating them on things. Whereas for me, I never realized how nice it is to have somebody like that to help, and not an assistant that just gonna like hold a camera and like, or have my mom or dad help me film.
No, there's a lot of marketing in what I do. You have to understand different social media platforms. You have to know how to capture content, how to edit content.
Yeah.
You need to understand how to stay aligned with the brand voice and their tone. Mm-hmm. You need to understand business too, because like, you know, there's content pillars. You need to like, there's so much that goes on behind it. You need to know how to like review analytics, how each platform works. Mm-hmm. You need to understand like, yeah, exactly. And I'm doing research. I'm basically taking, I haven't started taking online courses yet. I'm about to, but I've been doing a lot of research on paid ads, specifically Meta.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, specifically Meta, because that's also, I would say that's like the one area where I'm like, okay, if I can just like nip that in the butt and just understand it and start being able to offer it to my clients, like the value in that, because that's the one thing I would say that I'm missing. Mm-hmm. I know how to do pretty much everything else, but the one thing that I'm missing is paid ads.
Yeah. Because
then it would be like, okay, we're doing a campaign for this. I can also be the one helping with like the paid ads, because it's not as easy as like just going on Instagram and like boosting a post. Like paid ads, it's so technical.
And with Meta, because it's involved with Facebook, there's actually, I know someone who you can actually talk to about this, because like they do so much with it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you after, but it helps a business. Like it can actually transform a business.
Yeah.
It really can. And that's why, okay, so my business technically is like involved in my personal life, like my main business.
Yeah.
But I never thought about hiring someone like you who does what you do to help with my personal brand, you know, because typically you work with like companies, right? But I'm sure there's people like you that also work for creators.
Yeah.
And can help bring a vision to life and can help.
I actually know a few really big creators, like influencers, that have content creators and editors and someone just kind of like on standby who comes and like helps take content. I don't know like the extent of everything that they do, but like I've seen like, you know, like the influencer will be like doing a face to camera on their stories and they're like, yeah, like so the plan today is like I'm meeting up with like my content creator, like she's gonna help me shoot some content and we're gonna do this and that and whatever. And it's like it's cool, because me too, for a while I was like, no, like they do it on their own, but like that's the beauty of it, is that like you would never know.
Yeah, well, see, I still like, I'm such a control freak that I would need to do most of it myself. Yeah. The only thing I need help with is like the execution. So typically I always get Dan to help me shoot if I'm not using a tripod or if it's not like a face to camera type of a campaign. But if it does need movement, the issue is that we've worked together for so long now, and he is also helping with the kids, and he's also starting, like, he has a different business on the side. Like, we're busier now. Like, if I had someone to actually, like, almost like a videographer that could, but doesn't have to be their tone. Like, they could do it my way.
No, it's just a like a content creator.
But they would need to know how to use the equipment too, because there are some times where campaigns I want to film it on my actual good camera.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Mind you, it's like a point and shoot. I don't think it would be that complicated. Like, I'm sure you could even do it.
Yeah.
But it's someone like you that is a creative person that gets, like, if I sent you that mood board, I'm like, this is my vision. You're like, I know exactly what you're going for.
Yeah. Even like someone who's just kind of like, you know, like if they follow an influencer or a brand or a campaign, whatever it is, and then they can be like, oh, I saw this, like, this would be really good for your social media. We should shoot that together.
Yeah, like I love that, because there's so many trends that go that I'm just like, I don't have the time. Like, I don't scroll social media as often as I used to. And that's a huge part of my job, is to like do research for like what's trending. And I'm like, I'm so not a trending person right now, because I just don't have the time to scroll as often as I did. And
also sometimes like I find for me, when I'm off work, I don't want to be scrolling trends and stuff. Like, I just kind of want to watch things that are like funny and like have nothing to do with like,
I want to watch the content. I don't want to watch the what's trending content. Like, I don't want to watch this is what's trending right now.
Yeah, but sometimes, like, you know, like for me specifically, like my algorithm will show me like videos of cute dogs or like, I don't know, like travel destinations and stuff that has nothing to do with what I do for work.
Yeah.
And so then if I stop and like watch a video and it's looping, or if I'm reading the comments or whatever it is, and the algorithm thinks that's what I want to see, so that's what it pushes. And then I'll like miss a trend or something like that, and so I have to like backtrack and like look into things, because it's like,
well, that's the thing, is I don't see any trending stuff. So like sometimes I'll see a friend of mine do a video and I'm like, oh my God, that's such a funny idea. And they're like, well, it's that trend. And I'm like, what trend? Yeah. I didn't even see it, because it's not what I'm watching. But one of the main things, I actually just had a meeting with my new team right before you came over. And it was just like a strategy call. Like, okay, it's been like a few weeks since we've checked in. Like, what are things we can do now that Arkham's back in school? And like, I'm trying to get back into the swing of things with social media and be more consistent and like have a schedule and everything. I'm realizing that when you go to my page, you don't really see the pillars that I'm trying to put out there. Like, for my own personal brand, you can see a lot of what I do and it's relatable and whatever, but on my actual feed, because I post a lot more in stories than I do on my feed, just because I personally watch more stories. So I realized, okay, clearly fashion is a huge thing for me. That you can tell with my content, that I love fashion and that I'm a mom. You can see those two things. Home stuff, where is that on my page? There's like one video. That's a huge part of my life. That's something that I need to like start showing more of. Granted, we took a break over the summer, but still, that's something I want to get back into, because that's a huge other pillar, is like home renovation, restoring this home, just home interior content in general. Like I want to show way more of like interior design, painting, wallpaper, like things like that.
Yeah.
So that's a huge aspect. And then fitness is another one. I'm like, you could not see on my page that I work out.
They would have to go through your highlights if you're saving your
which like
workout stuff to your
and
highlights.
I have been training like crazy, so I have a series ready to go. The thing is, I wanted it to end with me doing the half marathon. I was supposed to do it this weekend on Sunday. I didn't injure my foot. I had some sort of plantar fasciitis, or I forget the other one, where it's like you have like a torn, anyways, whatever. My foot, I couldn't run for like 3 weeks, and that fully threw off everything. So I'm planning, now that I'm feeling better, I want to do it. I think there's another one in 3 weeks. Anyway, whatever, regardless, is I had this whole thing ready to go, and I haven't been posting anything because I'm like, I didn't want to post a series and then like be like, oh, actually I didn't do the half marathon in Montreal at the end of September. Like that would have been an awful ending.
Yeah.
So I was waiting to do it before I like started putting out the series, but now it's been so long.
Yeah.
So I'm like, at least what I could do is start showing some things. Like, what are some things that I do as a mom to work out? So, you know, training in the garage with Dan, running, my swimming, like little things here and there to show that I actually do a lot of exercise.
Yeah.
Because you cannot see that on my page.
Yeah.
And then cooking is another one. Again, where is that? Nowhere.
Yeah.
So it's like little things like that I'm trying to kind of like figure out, okay, what can I do on my account to make sure that when you're coming to my page, you're seeing like all the things that I enjoy and that I love to do and that make me who I am.
Yeah.
Like my pillars to my personal brand, you see that on my page. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, because it's true. It's very obvious you're a mom, and it's obvious that you're very into fashion. Yeah. But unless people follow you and they keep up with your stories, they wouldn't know
exactly
all of this other stuff about you.
So if we're pitching myself right now to like holiday campaigns for brands, and let's say Best Buy wants to work with me, or like they're pitching me to Best Buy, let's say, like, oh, she's planning on doing like this type of content for like home stuff, and they look at my page and they're like, but like, where is that? There's nothing for us to see. Which like some brands don't care because they could see the type of content you can create and they like have an idea and they like trust it. But it would be much better and a lot more helpful if there was something to back it up. You know, like I have that one video of us moving into the house and like doing these floors, and that's it.
Yeah, no, you want to be, exactly. You want people to like stay engaged and be consistent with your content. Like you posted a video of like you moving in.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure people were like, it probably did well. People were very curious. And then like the fact that nothing came after it, then it's like, you need to be consistent with it.
Because
they're gonna want like, oh, part 2. Like it's like what you see on TikTok all the time. Like if someone's doing a story time, they're like, oh my gosh, post part 2. Like we wanna.
And so what I was thinking with like I was deciding whether my fitness one will be just one video or if it would be in parts, because some people get really pissed off with parts, but I think it would just be too long to have it in one video. So I wanted to do in parts. The thing is, I wanted the last part to be the half marathon.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But again, and these are excuses for sure, but with the home stuff is we moved in, we did the floors like within the month and a half of us moving in. And then we started doing the backyard, and we had plans to do like the living room, the garage, and I think the upstairs arches. And that was on pause during the summer because we were just way too busy. But now that it's fall and back in school, that's our goal, is like, let's get back on top of it, because we moved in here technically in the spring, but for us, it's still winter. So it was just snowing like crazy.
Yeah.
So I have this room, I did the backyard, which that at least was posted, and then we just have all these other things. I just want to make sure that like when you're coming to my page, you like know who I am, you know what I like, and you know what I can film, because I have to look at it as a business perspective, because it is my business.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it is a business, and I'm very stuck in the old ways, and it's something that a lot of creators that have been doing this for a long time get stuck in, like the old.
Well, because it started off as just a simple hobby for you.
Yeah. Well, not even that. It's just, it was different back then.
It was different, but it was also just like a huge hobby of yours, which was like when it was a hobby and like because of how different it was, like it just, for you, it was just like fun and creative and relatable. It didn't start off as like a business venture.
No. And even like people are like, well, why don't you do hair stuff anymore? I'm like, I still do hair things, but it's kind of like the same stuff, right? I'm not really like a hair creator. Like I used to, when I started, hair was huge.
And also like back in the day, yeah, hair was huge. It was also like the boho vibe with like the braids and stuff.
Yeah.
But also you were wearing extensions back then.
Yeah, which people still do now. But I mean,
people still wear extensions back then. You don't really wear extensions as much, but like I think that was part of what was so what's the word that I'm looking for? Scroll stopping with your content was that like people would see this girl with like full, very long blonde hair and like, you know, it would be styled in like these really like big fishtail braids, or like you'd have like these really big wavy curls, but it was like, it would match with like the boho vibe that you had going on. It was like very much.
'Cause now it's blowout.
A vibe. And now, your hair is still beautiful. Yeah. But like, there's nothing like, so many people have beautiful hair now.
I know. And honestly, I really do believe that having beautiful hair makes your content that much better. Like, I really do have to say, like, if I'm looking at something even on Pinterest, like right now my hair is like raggy, so disgusting. I have a hair appointment next week and I'm so excited because
hair makes all the difference.
It really makes such a difference.
Like Hannah Schoenberg.
Oh my God, her hair is stunning.
Her hair is beautiful. And that's why, like, it's one of the reasons why I follow her is literally because of her hair. It just makes everything in her content look 10 times better.
And I've had a lot of regrowth of my hair over the past little bit, which I'm so excited for because I've
actually noticed a huge difference.
I lost so much hair this time postpartum. But it just, I'm like, I feel inspired now after that conversation because I'm like, I didn't know how to basically put my thoughts into like what I'm trying to show for social media and what I'm trying to curate. And that conversation kind of solidified it for me. Plus, this is the first real week that Arkham is like actually in school the full entire week.
Yeah.
Because it's been like kind of a slow transition and there was ped days and all these things. So I'm like, okay, we're back on track.
Yeah.
Like the next few weeks is going to be really good. I'm so excited. But we should probably segue.
Yeah, that's why I just looked at the time because I was like, I feel like we've been talking for like an hour. It's only been 27 minutes, but like we have a really good topic today, actually. I'm really interested in it. It's basically the psychology behind, or the reason behind why girls are so much more fascinated and obsessed with true crime documentaries as opposed to men. Also, like, we're not speaking on behalf of every single girl or every single man, but like there's a very obvious distinction between women, a lot more women being so fascinated by true crime and guys not really understanding why.
Like, why is it that you like something that's comforting for a woman is to watch a serial killer documentary while they're like having snacks on the couch, like girl dinner.
Yeah, it's like a form of self-care.
Literally, as they do their skincare, have a face mask on and they're watching like serial killer documentary. Like, to me, that sounds great, but like Dan's like, what the actual fuck? Like, he gets so confused, and I know a lot of men feel that same way. And so I was curious about it because I'm like, the other day I was listening to the case on the Idaho 4,
which is interesting because I remember for the longest time you didn't want to know, and I remember bringing it up to you like closer to when it happened. You're like, no, I don't want to know, but you were also a new mom, like, so it was messing with you.
Like, when I was really postpartum, I couldn't hear any of that kind of stuff. I took a real big break from true crime, but I think the podcast Serial is what really got me into it in like 2016.
Okay, yeah.
And then I would watch literally those mukbangs of girls eating and talking about true crime.
Stephanie Sue.
Yeah, obsessed. Yeah. I loved her. And I was just fascinated with true crime. And then I found all these podcasts and all these things and I would listen to them. And then I had babies and like couldn't for a while. But the past little bit, I've been back into it. And I was listening to a podcast just explaining the case because the only reason why I started back is because he was just convicted, right?
Yeah.
He took the plea deal. And so over the summer, there was just a bunch of TikToks about it, podcasts, just people talking about it in general. And so I kind of got up to date with that case. And I was thinking, I'm like, why is it that I'm so fascinated in this?
Yeah.
Like, why can I not stop thinking about it?
My sister and I were talking about this before we started recording. And I was like, there has to be like a psychology behind it. Like there has to be a reason for like why women in particular are so much more interested in true crime than men, because it's like I have noticed a huge difference. Like not only are like the majority, like a bigger chunk of women interested in true crime, but like most men, at least in my experience, like not only are they not as interested, but like they don't even understand it.
Yeah, they get confused.
They're like, why? Like what? Like why? Like it's like they genuinely don't understand. So anyways, we were talking about it, and we were like, you know, like why do we think that is? And
let me read you a few things, okay, guys? Yeah. Because there is actual psychology behind it. There is actual evidence and research, and there is a reason as to why, as women, we need to know these details. So one thing, safety and survival instincts. So many women listen to a way of studying the playbook, it says. So we basically like need to know everything so that if ever we're in a similar situation, like we'll know what to do, we'll pick up on red flags or something like that. So like if you're listening to a podcast or you're watching a true crime documentary and they're talking about the suspect, oh, he was this and this, and these were red flags that we ignored, and obviously that's not saying that like every person that has a red flag like that means they're gonna like be a serial killer, but it's just things that you put a mental note on. Yeah. And you're like, okay, if ever I'm in this situation, red flag, something to like be aware of. Like it's like walking into a room and needing to know where all the exits are in case something were to happen.
Yeah.
And not to live in paranoia, but just it's something that like as women we need to be aware of, unfortunately, because we are victims in a lot of crimes.
Yeah.
And it's just something that naturally we need to be aware of. So yeah, safety and survival instincts. And then there's control over fear. So crime is scary, but listening gives a sense of control, because it's kind of like when you're watching a scary movie, you feel that like scare, but you know you're safe. So if you're listening to this scary situation that did happen and it's very sad, but it gives you that sense of control because it is scary, but you know that you're in that safe environment of listening to it.
Yeah.
So it does wire something in your brain to feel like you have control over the situation.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. It does make a lot of sense.
Okay, wait. And then it says empathy and identification. So women often empathize deeply with the victims, especially when they're in everyday scenarios. So there's a lot of times where you can like almost picture it like, oh, that could have happened to me, or that could have happened to my friend or to my relative or whatever. Like that is such a like,
yeah, that's
like,
a huge one.
I run outside and put my headphones in and just go down that path.
Yeah.
Like that could have been me. And then it makes you self-aware of like, well, maybe I shouldn't put both my headphones in. Maybe I do need to be a little bit more aware. Or maybe like
really turn the volume down when you're like in a very isolated area.
Yeah, on a trail.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like it.
Because and again, it's not to live in paranoia, but you really never know. And like, yeah, okay, the odds are most likely going to be in your favor, but like.
There's always that one person that like it happens to, right?
Exactly. Like how many times have you watched a true crime documentary and either a friend or a relative or even someone who was attacked and survived have said like we've heard of stories like this happening, but we never thought that it would happen to either me or to someone so close to me. It's like you never think it's going to happen, and it most probably won't.
Well, it made me really sad listening to the Idaho 4 case. Well, I mean, the whole thing is absolutely like devastating, but one of the girls was like a true crime girl. Like she listened a lot, she knew a lot, and she had like suspicions she thought like someone was following her.
This is Kaylee.
Yeah.
Actually, Kaylee's brother went through Kaylee's TikTok following after everything happened, and he the family had reached out to this one, I think she was like a true crime reporter or storyteller. I don't know. Like she was.
But Kaylee followed her?
Kaylee followed her, and so the family reached out because they wanted her to help with, I think it was like a documentary that they were in, or I don't remember what it was. It was like a series or something.
Okay.
Anyways, he's now getting married to this woman.
Oh.
Brother.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even know that. See, I haven't done like a deep dive like in that way. I was more just learning about the case. And I also, one thing I really respect, so there's this one podcast I listen to called Best Case, Worst Case. And I don't listen to all their episodes, but sometimes I like to listen along. And the guy was former prosecutor or something like that. And he was also the writer for Criminal Minds, and he was a detective. And so he's worked on cases like, you know, as a police detective, whatever. And then his partner was a defense attorney, and she worked in like the court cases and stuff. And he always says like, they never like to talk about the suspects' names. Like, do not give that person a name, because a lot of times people want that fame.
Yeah.
Of like being that person that committed that crime.
Yeah.
It's a really sick, twisted thing. So don't give power to that person or to their name. You talk about the victims, you say the victims' names.
Yeah.
And I really respect that. I like that a lot. And I think it's important to always talk about the victims. And like, just like, you know, I mean, there is something to say about when a crime does happen, and you like, there needs to be research done and like try to make it so that it doesn't happen again. Or like, okay, what could we have done different as like I don't know, law enforcement to this, or, you know, as the friend or as the attorney or whatever. There's research that needs to be done into the case and on the suspect. But I think for the general public, there is always so much focus in the media on the person, the perpetrator.
I know, because everyone, it's like that person becomes like the main symbol of the event because they're the one that did
like,
this. But it's like,
that.
I know. But that's where I find a lot of people get intrigued, because it's like someone who can commit that kind of, actually, what I'm about to say ties into one of the points. What's the next point?
Well, the next one is the mystery and justice element. Well, I know what point you're going to, so keep that thought.
Yeah.
Because then we can go into it after. So the mystery and justice element. So true crime scratches an itch for puzzles, closure, and fairness. Many cases highlight systemic issues. So there could be like police negligence, misogyny, victim blaming, etc. So I think it's why a huge reason as to why women are drawn to it more than men is because you get that like justice feeling.
Yeah.
Which a lot of the times women don't get. And that's why it's so sad when in cases like you don't feel that justice, because it's like you get so upset.
Yeah.
And you feel for these families and for these victims so much as
Yeah.
women. And I think that also ties into what you were saying earlier before we started recording, how like women are more in tune with their emotion.
Yeah, I was like, there has to be an element of biology here. Like, even it's like a nature versus nurture thing.
Yep.
But like, and I think both kind of tie into it. Like, for the most part, women by nature, we're like, society has kind of taught women to be more emotionally self-aware, to reflect more, to be in touch with your emotions, to express yourself, to talk about things. You know, like how often has it that it's happened where like a girl is going through a breakup and she talks about it so much with her friends, or she's having issues and she talks about it with her friends, and they analyze and they piece things together, and they want to understand, because for a woman to process, she needs to process for the most part out loud.
Yeah.
You know? And like, whereas for guys, it's more of like, okay, well, it is what it is. Like, that's just, he did this because he's a psychopath. Like,
yeah.
But for women, it's like, no, but that's not good enough. We want to understand like the why behind it. But like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
And we also like, we empathize a lot with the families of the victims and the people and the victims themselves. And like, although we'll never like understand, like you will never understand if you haven't lived through something.
Yeah.
But you can like, you feel for them in such a deeper way, because we are so much more in tune with our emotions. And I think there is something to be said about that. Like, I really do agree with that point that you made.
Yeah, because for men, it's like they're much more likely to either suppress and distract, or they just kind of like, they take things
Too literally,
and they're content with just an answer and then moving on. Whereas like for girls, it's like not good enough. Like, no, we need to understand, like, but why? What caused this? Was it nature? Was it nurture?
I definitely think a lot of it is nurture, because I think in the newer generation, I think our generation, like raising these young boys, are trying our best to make them feel like they can access their emotions. Like they can talk about it. I think there is an element of biology, but I think most of it is nurture. And I think we are going to see a change in like the next 20 years. I do personally really do believe that, because we're so much more self-aware in parenting. And that's not to say that we're perfect. We're going to fuck up and make mistakes, and not everyone is going to do the same thing. But I think allowing our young boys to be like, have emotion.
Yeah.
And to be okay with those emotions. And how we act with those emotions, that's the most important thing. Is like, you can feel every single emotion, and it is so valid, but it's what you do with it, right? How you act with it. Yeah, it comes down to
self-control.
Mm-hmm. And what is okay or not okay. We don't use our emotions to dictate situations and manipulate situations. We don't allow emotions to like give us outbursts and act in a way that's inappropriate or violent. But it is okay to feel those emotions.
Yeah.
And how do we process them in a healthy way? And I think it's going to, in the next like 15, 20 years, I think there is going to be a big difference. I really do believe that.
Hopefully.
The next one is community aspect. So podcasts and online forums let women discuss and bond over these stories. So why do you think true crime is such a girl bonding thing? Why aren't guys sitting around sharing murder podcasts? Because it's like literally what you just said. We sit, we talk, we digest. And we
analyze.
Yeah, dissect is what I meant to say.
We dissect, yes.
Dissect, and we do it outwardly.
Yeah.
And then I think this is the one that was going to tie into your point from previously. It says dark curiosity and catharsis. So humans are wired to be curious about danger. For women, it ties into lived vulnerability. So do you think this is like watching horror movies, or is it deeper because it's real? Right.
I think with true crime, it's deeper because it's real, but also it's like what I was saying earlier before, like the point I was trying to make, like, for example, with the Idaho 4, everyone was like talking about Brian Koberger. I'm just going to say his name because I don't know what other, like, it's just easier. I don't care. With Brian Koberger, it's like, he was like the focus of the entire case for much of the time, like now it's starting to come out more where we're talking about the victims and the families and getting to know the victims. But like for the longest time, it was all about Brian Koberger.
So random. Like, why? They didn't even know him.
He was also like, a PhD student studying criminology.
Yeah.
I think he had he studied BTK, or he like was interviewing BTK.
Who's that?
Or something in jail. BTK is a serial killer from the 80s or 70s. I don't the 80s or 90s.
So he was basically planning this. Like, he was getting all of his research so that he could plan it and do it.
But like the reason why
we never will know.
But the reason why I think so many people and even women become so like fascinated or like freaked out and want to understand the actual murderer, like the perpetrator, is because there's a bit of that, like, there's an element to it that's like, this person is inhuman. This is like, because to imagine, it's almost like it's so hard to wrap your mind around a real true psychopath. Brian Koberger was never actually formally diagnosed with psychopathy from like the DSM-5 by like any professionals, at least publicly.
Okay.
But I think it's safe to say that like he fits the criteria of a psychopath.
Yeah.
But to wrap your mind around a true psychopath, also not all psychopaths are serial killers. Serial killers have a crazy sadistic edge. Psychopaths are still dangerous people emotionally, but they won't.
But can they?
Not all psychopaths are serial killers.
But could they become one?
They could. An actual diagnosed psychopath could kill someone and feel no remorse, no empathy. They will feel nothing. They will see someone getting tortured right in front of them, even a family member, and they will feel nothing.
What?
Unless it affects them. So unless it's like, you know, something is happening to a person in front of them being tortured, the only way it would affect a psychopath is like that person adds value to my life because they are paying for this or they are giving me this. So you're not going to touch them or hurt them because that's going to affect me. But if that person adds absolutely no value to a psychopath's life, they won't feel shit. So like a true psychopath is someone who has a complete lack of empathy and remorse. They have cognitive empathy, so they can understand emotions. They can understand why someone is feeling the way they're feeling, but they can't feel emotion themselves.
That's wild.
They're very manipulative. They exploit people. They could be very charming, but their charm is always manipulative.
What's the difference between a psychopath and a narcissist?
So a narcissist,
because that sounds like narcissism.
A narcissist does have emotions. They have,
so
feel
psychopath
things.
Has no emotion.
Well, a psychopath, their emotions are extremely shallow and muted.
Okay. So it's like being on like antidepressants.
A psychopath, you could be in a relationship with a psychopath and you break up with that psychopath. They won't feel sad or heartbroken.
Okay.
They'll see it as an inconvenience and they'll move on like it's nothing. But they won't feel bad. Like they won't feel sorry for themselves. They don't feel insecure.
Okay.
Whereas psychopaths don't feel shame. They don't feel guilt.
But
they don't
do narcissists?
feel insecure.
I thought
narcissists do. They feel
do.
The core of narcissism is shame.
I think
it's a shame-based disorder.
That's why a lot of people get the two confused, the two terms.
Because narcissists will act out in ways that like their empathy is very underdeveloped. Like it's all about them.
Yeah.
But they can still experience emotions of their own. Narcissists are extremely insecure people. Narcissists are like children. Think of it that way.
Okay. And psychopaths?
All children are pretty much narcissists. It's all me, me, me. You don't get what you want, you throw a tantrum.
Okay.
You can manipulate.
Okay.
You could feel embarrassed. You could feel shame. But it's like all of that, but in like an adult's body.
Okay.
Whereas a psychopath
lacks that.
They could be a legit predator in the sense where like a psychopath would be like the CEO of a company who knows that the products that they're selling, like it's like a billionaire kind of thing.
Yeah.
And to get to where they got, they have exploited people, they have stolen money,
but they've
ruined lives, and they feel nothing.
Oh shit. That's wild.
And they're very much
But doesn't necessarily mean that they're a serial killer.
No, because, and the reason why they wouldn't be a serial killer is because they know that like
they'll go to jail.
There's a chance that I can go to jail and I don't want that.
Yeah.
It's not because they're like, oh no, this is
like
very wrong. They know logically it's wrong, but they wouldn't feel anything.
But I feel like in the Idaho 4, it was more like he really felt like he could get away with it because of like his background and his education.
All psychopaths are narcissists too.
And he really was so curious to know what it felt like. Like, what are you feeling when you committed a crime? Didn't he have a whole, he went on like Reddit or something and tried to have like a whole survey for people that had committed crimes. Like, what did you feel when you committed that crime? Like, he was so curious about that, and he would talk to people about it.
He had that fascination to experience it for himself.
And I really feel like I personally don't think that he thought more people were in the house.
Yeah, I think that his target was
one of the girls
upstairs,
and then the other one he didn't know they were going to be there.
I think it's most people think that the target was Maddie.
Yeah, people think Maddie or Kaylee.
It's so sad.
It's really sad, and I think and I do believe it was him. I know people say it's not. I do believe it was him.
All the evidence points towards him. There's literal DNA evidence.
And is it
him.
Kaylee's sister who made that speech?
Yes, Olivia Gonzalez.
So she made this speech. It was so articulated and like perfectly executed. She hit him exactly where you would hit someone like that.
Yeah. Because with psychopaths, it's all about ego, power, control, superiority.
Yeah.
All of that.
Like she did not give him.
You can't cry in front of a psychopath and say, you took this from me. You
don't
did
give a
this,
shit.
you did that. You're giving them what they want.
Yeah. It was so good. And like, I think she said all it took was my sister and a sheath. Like literally you thought you were so smart. You thought you were going to be able to get away with it all. And all it took was my sister in a sheath. Like that was so good. And at the end, when she was like, if you hadn't snuck in on them in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your fucking ass. And I was like, oh my God, it was so good.
I know.
It was so good.
And she was calling him small. She was calling him
dirty,
a loser.
Dirty. She called him dirty, and he's obsessed with being clean.
Yeah.
She was like, dirty. I was like, oh, you got him so...
Yeah, her whole speech, I was like, that was...
Like, I had chills when I listened to it.
That was the best
Because
speech.
Again, as a woman, like, putting myself in her shoes, if that was my sister, like, I don't even know how she had that much control.
See, I feel like I'm imagining this. I don't actually know what it would be like if I experienced it. But if it's something had happened like to you like that, I feel like I would have...
Just for her sake.
I would have pulled an Olivia Gonzalez.
Yeah, I could see you doing that. I think I would have cried. I don't know. Actually, I don't even know what I would.
I would be a wreck behind closed doors. But for that one moment,
yeah,
I would make sure that I got it together.
I saw an interview with her at another time saying that when she was in front of him, she felt like she wasn't even looking at a human. He looked like an alien.
Yeah. And
everything was telling her to run. Like all her instincts were screaming at her that she should not be there.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine. Was it her dad that turned the podium towards him?
Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, that family is very much like...
They're also big advocates right now currently for like they feel there was injustice. Like they don't agree with the plea deal. They don't agree with it all. Mm-hmm. Which personally, putting myself in their shoes, I probably would feel the same.
Yeah.
Especially now knowing more details too. I mean, murder in general, I would feel awful, but knowing the details that were not said publicly up until recently.
Yeah. No.
Like the anger I would feel, you know? And
I don't even think that I personally would be able to read or see the autopsy report of a relative. Like, I wouldn't be able to.
And I can understand why they don't want that footage broadcasted. Like, why is...
And it's dehumanizing.
Here's the thing.
It's already so dehumanizing for them to get murdered in the way that it happened. Murder in general, but also the way that it happened. But then on top of it, to have photos of their bodies and to have the autopsy reports released.
But here's the thing. I can, like, looking at it without emotion, okay? The reason why they put things public like that is to be transparent, to show all the evidence to the public. The law enforcement, the court system, they need to be transparent with what they're doing, or else if you don't know anything, you don't know. You make assumptions. You think maybe they can get away with something or they can hide something. Like, this is for full transparency, so I can understand the reasoning as to why things become public like that, why it's shown. But I also think in certain cases, like, if the victim's family like does not want that out to the public, especially now with social media and things circulating.
Well, I think the autopsy reports, though, like, that's not necessary for public.
There is a reason. There is a reason. I forget what the reason. I was listening because in best case, worst case, because they work on the back end of like law enforcement and like all this and court cases. Like, there's a reason literally for the public to be it's actually, they used to not be transparent, and over the years they've had to be. And I think so it's messy now because of social media, because of how things spread and how things are shown and how graphic it is. And like, you know, like even 9/11 just passed and they show again like all the people jumping out of the buildings. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, even like the video recently, this wasn't like law enforcement, but like Charlie Kirk.
Oh no, the woman on the metro.
The woman on the metro. There's also the situation in Dallas with the man that got beheaded.
It's like these things, I think personally for myself and like my own sanity and like other people, it shouldn't just be like posted on TikTok or Insta. Like that stuff should be available to access for the public, but it would have to be on like a different platform.
Yeah, like it's not, you don't have to worry about what you're going to see if you're just scrolling on social media. Like you have control over whether or not you want to see it.
Yeah, because like I think it's good to make things public.
But like that's impossible though now with,
I know,
with technology.
But that's why it's
also
so,
what I find so weird, it makes no sense. So my friend, she has a spray tan business.
Okay.
She can't post videos of her doing spray tans, which shows like the girl like just in a bikini because it's inappropriate.
Wait, what? Yeah. But you can post videos in a bikini
on TikTok?
Yeah.
No, but it has to be like, it's like the guidelines are very strict. If she posts, if it's like longer than a certain amount of time, you can't do it. You have to zoom in closer and show like a closer shot. You can't
you can show someone getting murdered.
Yeah, but you can post videos of like someone being assassinated or
it's
beheaded.
Really bothering me that I don't know her name and that with the fact that we said that
Irina.
Okay, so I want to see that. I saw it, like I didn't realize you had texted me saying you saw the video of the guy getting assassinated, and then I was like, oh my god, that's so scary. And then I was like, I accidentally saw the video of the girl on the metro, or the subway or whatever, but I didn't think it was real. I like didn't really know what I saw. I thought it was like part of a movie or something. Like I don't know. It was only after that I realized it was real that I was like really upset. And then the following day after you told me, I saw the video because I had been like trying to avoid it. And then I guess someone had posted it and I'd seen it.
And it happened so fast too. Like it didn't even like register what was happening until after the video was done and it like looped again. And I was like, oh my God. But I thought it was fake at first. Cause like, I was like, I don't know. Like you don't know with AI.
I know.
But then it was like, no, that was real. And like, oh, it was so disturbing, Alex. Like I was still to this day, I'm still like really bothered by it.
Yeah. Well, it's because like, you don't want to. Well, that's the thing is that like I brought this up with a friend and she was like you're so blessed to like feel that way or privileged to feel that way because there's so many people around the world that's like that's their reality like every single day, and that's true. It is the reality every single day, and it's so sad. But like where we live, we are fortunate enough to like not experience that every single day. And just because they do doesn't mean that like we should also have to.
No, exactly. It's we could appreciate the fact that we don't have to experience that every day, but like
and like try to help.
That doesn't
in other
mean
ways.
that we're not allowed to.
Like no one should see that every day.
Yeah,
nobody should see that. That's just I think. Like I want to be able to have control over like what pops up on my feed, you know?
Also, it's just like, it's not even just the video itself, like me seeing it. It's like just how fast his life was gone.
Oh, all of them.
He was feeling fine in that moment. He was like just finished a sentence and boom, everything gone.
But that's
the
like
fact
anyone,
that he left behind a wife and 2 kids and they had to witness that. And I know it's like that with anyone, but I'm talking about Charlie.
The thing you saw.
Yeah.
The thing you saw. And that's like what kind of went through your mind.
Exactly.
Right after you saw it.
And like, yeah. And like, I knew Charlie's personality. There is psychology behind this too. It's like, even if you don't know the person personally, when you've seen enough clips of them, you've seen their face enough times, you know their mannerisms, you know what their voice sounds like, it does feel personal. It feels personal.
Like parasocial really. But I didn't know who he was prior to this. Like I had never even seen him. But since that I've seen a bunch of stuff pop up, and I just like it freaked me out. Like seeing that and now seeing content of his, like it's kind of like what you said.
Yeah.
Cuz like the other video I saw, I'll see like a photo of her or something, but she wasn't a public figure. So not that it makes it any less sad, but it's just different. Like you don't, not that you have a connection.
There's more of a disconnect there.
Yeah, because it's like, it's almost like you can put it in the back of your head, right? And disconnect from it, like you just said. But, and I think that's why with the Idaho 4 case, I couldn't, like, even now, like if I see something on it, like I have to watch it or I have to know about it because it almost feels personal, even though I didn't know these girls, but like the way they were like college
it's also
people.
like a sense of like justice, or like, I mean, there's no justice if someone's life is taken.
No, it's no justice.
There's no the justice like doesn't exist at that point, but you can try to, you know, go about things in a way that gives the maximum penalty, the maximum form of punishment. But at the end of the day, like that's not even justice. Like you just don't want it to
justice
happen
would go back in
place.
time and like change the
but it's but I think that even on a deeper level, something that I find so fascinating is that like, because something like when someone's life is taken from them in a way that wasn't because of like a disease or like, you know, like something like murder,
an act from
and
another
it's so
person,
sudden,
like they decided for
exactly
everyone that this person was going to die.
So it's like, and the finality of that, you can't undo death, like for the most part, you know what I mean? So it's like a final thing, and it leaves you with like a sense of absolutely no control, and the only thing that could like restore or like kind of help you feel a little in control is like just knowing everything.
Yeah, because even the I think she was a nursing student in Georgia, the one that went on a run, and that was I think she was, I don't remember how she was murdered, but she was murdered in a trail near to where her cousin lives.
Oh my God.
And it's like, that could have literally been her. That could have been anyone. That could have been her friend. Like it could have been, it was like wrong place at the wrong time. And again, just a man, just like, it bothers me so much when I eat. And I feel like I need to know everything, all the details. Like you said, a sense of control, even though you didn't know this person, you didn't know anything about it, but it's like, it's so different than
it's so like I think that it's just like you have no sense of control in that moment when like it's so sad and it's so final. So like the only way to kind of feel a little bit more balanced again and to like restore that sense of control is to like just know everything.
Because, like, I find when I listen to true crime, a lot of the times I am a little disconnected. Because, like, the Idaho 4, maybe I felt more connected. That's why I, like, researched so much more. Like, for some reason, 9/11 is, like, something I'll always think about. But other cases, it's, like, I need to know, like, the details because I want to know for, like, research purposes for myself of how to be safe or, like, how to avoid something. But then there's, like, the specific ones that you, like, they tug on like a heartstring or something.
Yeah, for me it was Charlie Kirk. And I didn't even agree with everything he said, but I'm like, I don't think he was a bad guy at all. He wasn't a bad guy. He had his own beliefs.
I saw like 2 videos of him. Like I don't really know anything. The only 2 videos I saw of him, I was really disagreed with what he said, but I don't think he deserves to be murdered.
No.
I don't think anyone deserves to be murdered. Actually, that's a lie, and I told you this, and I will say this online. Maybe I shouldn't. I will say it online. If someone that I love more than anything, like, gets murdered, I think the person who did it deserves the death penalty. Like, I do personally believe that.
But also, it's not because you agree with taking another form of someone else's life. You don't agree with murder.
No.
But it's, this person is a predator. They're dangerous. If they're not taken out of the world, then A, people are paying taxes on having that person in jail. B, they what's it called? You want to prevent it from happening again, because if that person is at all contributing to society, like they could cause harm.
But it's like that anger that I feel. It's that anger that I feel that like that dad felt.
An eye for an eye.
No, it's like it's almost like Mother Bear. Like if it was someone that I loved in my life, and it's literally specific to people I love in my life for some reason, I feel this like like that dad of the girl who was sexually abused by her gymnastics, like she's a gymnast, and the
Larry Nassar.
Yeah. The dad like jumping over because he was like asking, Your Honor, please give me like 5 minutes with him. And the judge is like, no, I can't do that. And he like jumped over to try to like beat the shit. Like that's the feeling I feel.
Yeah.
Like if someone were to harm my babies or just someone I loved, like that feeling, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And I know that's a normal feeling to have because a lot of people do feel that way. And why I believe in like, I guess the death penalty, because a lot of people don't believe in it. And I don't know like how I would feel about like, because I'm not emotionally invested in this case with these other people. Like I don't know them personally, right? So I don't know how I feel in like those situations, but I know for me how I would feel if it was like me or my family.
Yeah. You also like watching these true crime documentaries, like you put yourself in the other person's shoes, like the one, either the victim or the families of the victim or like anyone. It's like you put yourself in that person's shoes and
you'll never actually know what it feels like.
No.
Thankfully. But it's like a feeling that it's like describing a color that doesn't exist. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't describe that feeling because you've never felt it.
Yep.
Or
No,
it's
exactly.
like try to explain love to someone who's never felt love or never felt like they loved somebody. You can't describe it. You just have to feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I think I kind of ending on a sad note, but I'm just saying that like there is a lot to be said. And like, again, like you always say, we can have a difference of opinion on things. It is normal and it is okay.
Well, I think if there's anything to gain from or to learn from the whole, at least Charlie Kirk situation, it's that you don't have to agree with everything someone says. You can actually have very strong opposing beliefs.
Yeah.
But no one deserves to be murdered.
Mm-mm.
And that is the one thing that I think everyone should agree on.
Yeah, just for having opposing beliefs.
Like, it's just...
I did see a quote, though, that I do want to say, because I said, you don't have to agree, and I don't know if this is right or not, but it said, like, you don't have to agree with what that guy said, but he agreed with what he said. Like,
it's a difference.
You don't have to believe in what he said, but he believed in... Wait.
And he wasn't going around actively harming anyone.
No, I'm saying... No, sorry. I'm getting the quote wrong. It was like what happened to him, he kind of like was for. Like he believed in that.
No, he didn't. That's people twisting things. He didn't believe in murder. He was against murder. He believed in people having the right to own guns, but it's not the gun that's the issue. It's the person behind it.
Yeah, so gun laws need to change.
Like, don't take my word on like the specifics here, but like from my understanding, he doesn't believe in murder. He didn't even believe in abortions because he thinks the moment the egg is fertilized, that's a human life. And he was so against abortions. He believed in human rights. I mean, in human rights, but human life. He was pro-life to another degree.
But not really, because he would rather the mom die. Like the video I saw.
Well, that's where things get a little bit more like
the one video I saw that I was like, pooh, was like the mom would die if she brought this baby into the world, but like he would rather the mom die than get an abortion. So like to me, that's not like that was like the video I saw, and I was like, and granted, I saw 2 videos of his with 2 things that I didn't agree with, and I have no other context.
So his thing when it came to guns, it wasn't that he was pro-murder.
No one is pro-murder unless you're a psychopath.
You know? But like for him, I would have to do research on this, but it was more about his whole point was that we could change the gun laws, but there's still going to be crazy people in the world.
Of course, but changing the gun laws will make a huge difference.
It would make a huge difference.
Like they need to change those. Like,
but he
what happened
believed
to him was
in
a school shooting.
But he believed in free, what's it called?
I don't know.
Not free speech.
Yeah, free speech. He's allowed to say what he wants.
No,
I don't have to agree with
I'm
it.
saying like with like if someone wants to purchase a gun for like self-defense reasons, like that kind of thing, you know, like they have the option to do that. Like
but we have the option to that here, but there is extensive measures in order to get that gun.
I also think that because I have seen
like in the States,
many
you can walk
videos,
into Walmart and buy a gun.
I've seen different video clips though of Charlie talking about the same topic. And in some video clips, it seems like he's very much like right. But then like I've seen other clips where it's like he elaborates and he talks about something in more depth. And when he like elaborates on it, it's like, oh, okay, like that's his reasoning. And it actually like it makes logical sense. What I think his thing that where it was like lacking in my opinion was that like there wasn't much room for like nuance or complex cases, or
it was very black and white.
It was too black and white.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think the people didn't agree with.
But the US is very black and white.
But the US is very black and white, because then you could say, you know, like there's people who are on the extreme left side, which is like the liberals, who are celebrating his death.
Yeah,
But then they turn around and they're like, free speech. I identify as whoever I want, and you're sexist if you don't label me with the right pronoun, or if you don't agree with this. And then like they do like the whole cancel culture and like cyberbullying and like those. I'm talking about like extremes. You know, but then it's like they turn around and they celebrate someone being murdered for having a different belief system. But like it's so hypocritical.
Yeah. I think honestly, like it's so sad if anyone is murdered.
Yeah.
Like literally so sad if anyone is murdered. I actually value people that have a difference in opinion than me. I think not always, because sometimes I do think having a different opinion is fine. But when you're advocating for that different opinion to be like a reality, and like that reality can be harmful to people, then I don't agree. So like banning abortion, personally, I don't agree with that.
Yeah. Same.
Having stricter gun laws, I do agree.
Yeah,
I do
same.
think the states need don't take away all guns. Like you're just going to find them on the black market. People will just find them in different ways, but make it harder to get them. Like
yeah,
literally
and also
make it harder.
you could kill people in other ways too. It's
yeah,
not just
like
guns.
Have more support for mental health.
Yeah.
Have more support for people that need help in poverty and that are struggling, single moms, and like just there's so much different ways that you can go about it versus just being like guns or no guns. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's just, like you said, there is nuance to it.
Yeah. But I have seen clips. By the way, I don't agree with everything that I don't agree with everything Charlie was saying. But one thing I will say is that I always had a lot of respect for him, because I feel like in a world that's so chaotic, he was someone who had very, very strong values, beliefs. He was more grounded because he wasn't easily influenced by other people's opinions. And I do think that the world needs more people like that. The world needs more people who also, I will say, he was one of the very few people that would actually listen to what the opposite party had to say willingly. Yes, he would debate them on it. Yes, he disagreed with them on a lot of things, but he was also giving them the opportunity to stand in front of him with a microphone and challenge him.
Yeah, but the two clips I saw, and maybe that's just the two clips I saw, and it was like I didn't watch the whole thing of the speech or whatever. It was very much like, I'm this person of power that's going to let you debate me, but like I'm basically going to show you how you're wrong. And like it didn't seem like he was open to hearing a different point of view. It was more just like, let me just speak what my thoughts are and like tell you how you're wrong as a person of authority, because I'm older and like whatever. Like that's kind of how I took those two videos that I saw. Does not mean I think he should be killed, but that was like the feeling I had was like, ugh. Like when I watched them, and I was like, I don't like this. I don't like what I'm listening to.
Yeah, but then the people that are debating him know what they're getting themselves into.
Of course. And I do think it's true what you said. There needs to be more people that do challenge people. And I do think but also coming from a place of compassion and like opening your mind a little bit and having less black and white.
But he was very, very religious.
I'm sorry if you're religious. I know a lot of people are, but like, I just don't understand that as a reason.
Which is fine. That's so valid. You don't need to understand it. Just like he didn't need to understand our point of view with certain things that we really disagreed on. And I think that's the whole thing, is that like, it's okay for people to have different beliefs. Like, doesn't make the other person a really bad person. If you're not killing anyone, like if you're not like this crazy abusive person, like if you're not actively harming someone and it's just
but
your
you
belief,
are, though.
No, because the other like let's say with Charlie Kirk, like he had all of these beliefs, right, that were very black and white a lot of the time. I didn't agree with everything he said. There was some things that I like strongly disagree with, but if someone else is going to let his beliefs affect them that much, why are you letting yourself be so affected by someone else's beliefs that you don't even know personally? If they're not in your everyday life, why are you so affected by it?
Because if you have someone that's advocating for what he's advocating for, which is becoming a reality, and it is becoming harmful to people, and it is taking away like body autonomy, I do think that is in turn not just a belief, that is actually harmful. And so I think people were debating him on that and like trying to explain to him how like, yeah, it's fine to have different belief, but like now your belief is actually becoming reality because of the fact that you're advocating it and getting people to follow you, and now everyone's putting pressure under it, and it's becoming a reality for a lot of people in the country that we live in, and it is extremely harmful to them.
Yeah.
And like in that situation, I can see it being
and so
wrong.
His comeback to that was,
oh, someone said that?
Well, like in all the debates I've seen with him, because that's something that I really just I'm very much like, no, I believe in abortion.
Yeah.
Also, to elaborate on that, the clips that I've seen was his comeback to people who would like talk about abortion and stuff, or like a woman who was raped and gets pregnant, or a woman whose life is in danger, so she has to get an abortion, or anything like that. You know, like they were saying, like in those instances, like, anyways, his whole thing was he doesn't believe, this doesn't really like answer the complex cases though, but like his whole thing was that because he's like super religious, he didn't believe in sex before marriage, but he also thinks that the adults, in cases where it's consensual, should be the ones holding themselves accountable. So if you're going to be participating in sex before marriage, then you need to take precautions to make sure that you don't get pregnant. So whether it's condoms, birth control, ideally no sex before marriage, but you're already putting yourself at risk. And so there's always going to be a chance that you get pregnant. And if you do get pregnant, then this is like so extreme. Like he believes like it's murder and you know, but he's like, adults need to be the one holding themselves accountable. Be responsible.
It's just like, to me, I just want to do like the biggest eye roll, because it's like, okay, do you know nothing about anything? Like, what if someone gets pregnant consensually? They both want the baby. Something is wrong with the baby.
Yeah.
Something is wrong that will either make the life of that baby extremely difficult, or that baby will maybe live most 3 days out of the womb. It will suffer, and it will, like, there are things that happen.
Yep.
And like, to be like, sorry, you're murdering, when like actually it's going to be way worse for this. And then you have to carry the baby the whole term, give birth to, like, to me, I'm like, it is not black and white.
No, it's really not black and white. There's so much nuance to it. And also even, and I agree with your point, by the way, like earlier when I was saying, you know, like people shouldn't let someone else's opinion affect them so much. And you're like, no, but like abortions, it's so true. It's because I live in Canada.
It's because, yeah, like we have to face that reality. We don't have that reality. It's like a lot of people do. A lot of people do. And that's why people are so vocal about it. Because it's like, the one clip I saw of him was a girl asking like, what would happen?
We need to end soon because I need to.
Oh, shoot. Like, what would happen if, like, your daughter, like, there was a 5-year-old who got pregnant.
No.
And like, what would you like give her? You would like just let your 4-year-old like have, like, you know what I mean? Like, what?
I know.
That is okay.
I know.
Like, to me, that is so messed up. So anyways, trying to segue onto a happier note over here. There is definitely psychology as to why women are more interested in true crime than men. And you're not weird for being interested in it. You're also not weird if you're not interested in it, because a lot of people get freaked out by it. But there is a fascination towards it. That's why a lot of people do it on social media and why you listen to it a lot. And yeah, it is okay. And it is what it is.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Yeah. That's my point.
But next week will be a happier episode. Yeah. Okay, you guys? I would love to hear your thoughts, though. Honestly, like anything we've said, if you have a rebuttal or you have a thought or something, like seriously, leave it in the comments, because even if you like so disagree with something that we said, or you are like, oh my gosh, like this point or that point, like I'd love to hear it. Yeah. Honestly, because it does help us think differently. Yeah. But we love you guys, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.